Hello, and welcome to another episode of LovitzOrLeavitz. And as you can see, today my guest is Alex Thomas, who is an actor, stand-up comedian, a businessman, a professional writer. We met on the show, sitcom, Mr. Box Office, that Byron Allen produced.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and we've become very good friends. He's also a very good golfer. And,
I'm the ghetto Tiger Woods. They call me Inglewoods.
Well, let's not get crazy. Never judge a book by its cover. Alex is one of the rare Chinese comedians working in the United States today. But a lot of people don't realize you're Chinese. They think you're...
Well, it's the tan. It's the tan. You know what I mean? I was born in Beijing, South Central Beijing, and my parents owned...
So even Beijing has a well, of course it has the South Central part of Beijing.
The South Central part, yeah. So actually, I was a Crip and a Blood in a Chinese neighborhood. So you can only imagine.
So you were in the triage.
Exactly. You know what my gang name was, right?
What?
Chopsticks. I was notorious. I was chopping fools up
I hope
all
you don't
throughout
do that
Beijing.
I hope you don't do that joke on stage. Now, there's a lot been going on in the news. You know, the whole thing with Donald Sterling and whatever. I actually know Donald Sterling. I met him a few times. This whole thing left me conflicted because of this. He always said, "Call if you ever want tickets to the games." He goes, "Why don't you ever call me?" For years, and I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." So I called last year, and they said, "Oh," which is very tragic. His son had just passed away. I felt like an idiot. I had no idea. So I said, all right. So then I just didn't call again. I don't, it's a horrible thing. So then a few weeks ago, I said to a friend, hey, the Clippers are in the playoffs. Maybe I should call them to get tickets. So, and the next day, this whole thing happened with the girl secretly, taping him and all that. And well, I think everybody's bad. Now, anyway, and since then, the commissioner said he's banned for life. As a Chinese African American, how do you feel about that?
First of all, can I be real on your show? Can I talk the shit I want to talk?
Go ahead.
Donald Sterling can kiss the inside of my ass, like the pink part. He's a bitch ass racist motherfucker, and the right thing was done. He should be banned for life. First of all, he's 90, so life is 10 years for him. He only has 10 more years to live. Yes.
You have a pink, have a pink part of your ass?
The inside, deep, 6 centimeters on my sphincter is pink. See, the outside, let me show you. The outside.
No, don't.
Okay. Outside of my ass is black, but the inside's pink, yeah. Donald Sterling can tongue kiss that bitch. Because I'm speaking on behalf. Okay.
When you first heard the recording.
Yeah.
Did you go on the website? Did you listen to the whole thing?
I listened to the entire. Most of the world just heard that little 10-minute part. No, I dug deep. And there's an hour tape. To be honest with you, there's actually like 2 or 3 hours when it all came out. But there's an hour that was kind of publicized that everybody heard.
Well, I think what he said was wrong. But do you think it was wrong for her to secretly tape him like that?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you straight up. You know what that's like saying, John? You love dogs. I know you love dogs. Jerry's one of my buddies.
Jerry's
Michael
my
Vick.
dog.
Jerry's is his dog. But Michael Vick, pro football player, did a couple years in prison because he was set up. That he was fighting dogs. There was dogs that were dying and they were burying. He did some malicious things with dogs. But he was set up. The bottom line is nobody made him.
He was set up.
He was set up, meaning, when I say set up, meaning he was already committing a crime. And when I say set up, it's kind of like snitching. It's kind of like somebody spilled the beans on him. Somebody let it out that Mike was doing this. You didn't know this. I didn't know this. The world didn't know.
But it's illegal to record somebody without telling them.
Okay. The bottom line is...
I'm not justifying what he said.
No, but it sounds like you are. It sounds
no, what I'm saying is, I think she was wrong for doing that.
Well, first of all, we don't know their personal situation.
I think what he said was wrong, and I think TMZ was wrong to put it on their site.
Well, they gave him a chance. See, I know the inside. They gave him a chance.
Wait a minute.
To
Wait a
There's
minute.
it's probably a whole lot you don't know. The bottom line
You
is,
know
yes, she set him. Listen to me. Yes, she did set him up. Yes, you and I don't know the inside about what made her mad to do that. But she did not put the racist words in his mind, didn't put it in his heart, and definitely didn't put it in his mouth. He spoke the truth. Now, if there's anybody else out there that believes that way, keep that shit to yourself. Because in this day and age, that modern day slave trade mentality, because it's exactly what it is. Because if you listen to the tape when he goes, how can I be racist? I feed them, I clothe them, I buy them cars, I buy them homes, I take good care of my slaves. How could that be racist? That's some racist ass shit. When he says he doesn't want black people at his games, do you not know 11 out of 13 of his employees on that floor that are making him that money are black? Does he not know?
So doesn't it seem something's? Don't you think it's off that he goes? He employs black people, whatever, but then they don't. He doesn't want them at the games, and his girlfriend's half black. It just does nothing makes sense.
No, exactly. It's hypocritical. It's like you're saying this about black, but I'm gonna be honest. You're putting your dick inside of a black woman every night, because she is black at the end of the day. She's mixed, but she's got some black in her.
Language.
But I'm gonna go back to the real beginning of slavery. Almost every white slave trader, and I don't mean it, I'm the coolest dude on the planet. I'm just telling the truth. If you saw Django, if you saw any type of slave movies, 90% of them had black women. They're movies, but they're off the truth. They had a black woman. They had sex with black women. How the fuck do you think light-skinned people got here? That was white people having sex with black people.
Oh, light-skinned. But on stage you go light-skinned.
Skinned, exactly. If you're blonde hair, blue eyes,
do you like
and your chick is chocolate, your baby's gonna come out loud.
Can I get a word in edgewise?
God damn it, I'm angry, John. No,
speaking of Skinned, do you like Leonard Skinner?
You talk about somebody I'm really not aware of.
All right, go on.
Yeah, but you can educate me with that. But it just to kind of wrap up the Donald Sterling thing, it was very racist what he said. It was very hurtful.
No, it was.
If every legend came out and spoke on this, we can't have. And that's why I love the fact that he moved that swift. Because guess what? They would not have played that game that night. You could not have played that game that night.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Gosh. When you heard what he said, how did make you feel emotionally inside as a person?
It felt fucked up, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I personally am friends with at least 6 guys on that team. I know that they mean well. I know that they're trying to take care of their families, and I know that they love basketball. And I know they were thrown a curveball beyond a curveball to be like, this is the playoffs. We got to go out there and play tonight. But our owner just basically said, you slaves, get out there and work for me, and it is what it is. If he had not banned him,
were you upset emotionally?
Oh, man, I was fucked up because I was like, it's crazy. I'm being honest. As a 45-year-old black man at this day and age, it kind of really dawned on me that racism is still alive. It still happens. And not to say all white people, I would say 99% of white people out there do not do that. Nothing against white people in general. No, there are still some guys, like one of the jokes I did on stage the other night. I said, in Donald Sterling's 180-year-old racist white mind, it's still okay to own a slave or two. He's old school. At one time, yes, that was okay. Sit around with your buddies, tell us about your
old
slave.
School.
Oh, he's completely 80 is beyond old school.
I know, but it's just weird to call that old school.
Yeah, that's old school. But it just it really hit me hard, John, because I was like, there are people out there right now that really still think like that. And I'm no different than any other young black man in America goes, wow, I thought we were kind of over those kind of things. Thought we were a little beyond that.
Well, most people are. He's not.
And that's why his ass got banned for life. And like every superstar from Magic Johnson to Michael Jordan to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to President Obama said there's no room for that in our sport. There's no room for that in this society right now. We're moving forward now. You know what I mean? It's almost like if somebody big black said something ignorant. I'd feel bad for my people. Like, man, he just really said that, and it'd be up to me to kind of go, look, white people, we're not all like that. I would never put white people in a box and say, you're all like that. No, that was his ass, by himself. And yes, she caught him up. Yes, she did. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say she caught him up, meaning yes,
She was setting him up.
Yes, she set him up.
All right, I just wanted to hear.
Absolutely set him up. But guess what? She did not put those words in his mouth.
No, but didn't you find it? Why does he? How does he date a woman that's half black and half Mexican, and then say that?
Well, I'm gonna say one thing. My grandfather told me.
It's so opposite. It's like nothing of it makes.
I'm gonna tell you something. My grandfather told me. His old saying. He said, "Alex, when it comes to pussy, he goes black, white. It's all pink on the inside." Meaning, it really, when it comes down to laying down in the dark, and as a man having sex,
the same.
It feels the same. Whether
All
you're
cats are gray in the dark.
Absolutely. A guy used to ask me because before I got engaged, I was a international man of leisure. I went around the world. I enjoy all women. But I had a lot of dudes I grew up with to be like, Alex.
His fiancée is right there.
Hey, but I can be real. She understands. I used to have guys that come up to me, man, Alex, I ain't never had sex with no Asian chick. What's that Asian pussy like? I'm like, it's not like it tastes like soy sauce. I ain't never had sex with a Hispanic chick. What is that like? It's not like it tastes like guacamole. I ain't never had sex with a white chick. It ain't like it tastes like white milk. No, it's all the same. And I say that to say...
Fishy?
I say that to say...
Sushi?
Yeah, that's Japanese pussy. No, just...
That is racist.
That is so racist. No, but like as far as Donald Sterling goes, yeah, man, he enjoys women. He messes around on his wife. I guess they got some type of arrangement going on right now, but the bottom line is he was enjoying himself messing around with a chick.
But what I'm saying to you,
he wasn't looking into her nationality.
You personally, you're making all these grand statements, but you personally, as a person, and you hear someone saying that.
Saying what?
What Donald Sterling said.
Yeah.
Like, don't associate with black people publicly.
It's
Don't bring them to the games. Were you like, did it hurt your feelings?
It hurt my feelings beyond. I felt like I was one of those dudes on that team. I don't play on the Clippers, but I looked at it like, man, that could be my boss at wherever I work. That was a fucked up feeling. I was like, he does not want me now. Here's why I'm not as emotional.
But isn't it?
I'm not a Clipper fan. I'm a Laker fan till I die, but I can put myself, like if Jerry Buss had said that.
But if you heard that,
I'd be tearing up.
Wasn't the real thing that it's upsetting because, just be really honest, would you think of yourself as Alex, or you go, I'm black and then I'm Alex? Aren't you just Alex?
First of all, I'm just Alex
person.
Thomas,
right?
An African-American man. Fuck my credits or what I've done in my life, and I couldn't know. When he said that, even though they're basketball players, I feel like he said that to all black people. Because he did say he does not want to. I go to Clipper games.
And isn't it wrong?
He told me personally, like he called my house and said, Alex, you and the rest of your black friends are not welcome at my house. That was fucked up. Yes, that hurt. That'd be like you, my friend, who I've been friends with for years, and you and I, we joke, we talk about this kind of shit all the time. That would crush me if you said, Alex, I thought I was going to have you on the show today, but we thought about it, and you're black, so I can't have you on my show. I'd be like, fuck John Lovitz.
Well,
fuck the shit, the horse you came in on.
We did say that, and he showed up anyway.
There you have it. I'm glad you said that. Say you said that and I showed up anyway. It would look like it's okay. If they had played that game and he was still the owner, and they didn't ban him, it would have looked like it was okay. It would have looked like, yeah, Massa told us we can't come, but Massa giving us a check. Silver did the right thing.
Yeah, the way I thought of it was, I actually, what was it? Oh, Sam Rubin on KTLA does a show, Hollywood something, I forget. Anyway, one of the women on the show, she's on a show, Basketball Wives. And it turns out she's the wife of Matt Barnes on the Clippers.
Gloria.
Gloria, yeah. So I was asking her about, I said, hey, your husband's on the Clippers. So I saying, do you get great seats as a wife of a basketball player? She goes, yeah, do you want to go to a game? I go, well, that's not why I was asking. I was just saying, is it like fun for you? You get these great seats and you get to go to the game. She goes, yeah, but would you like to? I go, well, yes, I would love to go. So anyway, she invited me, so I got to go, and I had good seats, and then she was sitting down below great seats. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. And then I met her backstage, and then she introduced me to Matt Barnes, and I met Blake Griffin, and I met Chris Paul, and he goes, "Oh, John Lovitz, I love you," and Mom and Dad Saved the World, the movie. My brother and I watch it all. We watched it growing up.
CJ.
And I said, "Really? You really watched Mom and Dad Save the World?" He goes, "What are you kidding? You really saw it?" He goes, "What are you kidding? Only every day." And they were all very nice. And then I met Blake Griffin again. I ran into him and talked to him. So when this happened, and then I saw the thing when they took their jerseys off, and this, I just thought of them as just young, professional athletes and young guys in their 20s. And now they're being judged on their race.
Right.
And I just felt sick to my stomach. And I just
Absolutely.
thought they must have a knot in their stomach.
Absolutely.
And the reason I said, are you Alex or Buck? Because I'm me. And then when people go, "Oh, but you're Jewish too," I go, "Well, yeah, but I don't think that way. It's like you have to be told you're Jewish."
It's just it's
It's not a
ignorance.
feeling. It's nothing you feel. Do you know what I mean? I feel like John.
I'm a little confused with what you're trying to say or ask me right now. I'm confused.
I'm
Because
saying
what you
that-
just said about them is what I said. Absolutely.
I'm saying that
Not in this
everyone is a
comment.
person. It's what Martin Luther King says. You judge someone by the content of their character, not
Right.
their religion
Color
or
of
the
their-
color of
or
their
the color of
skin.
their skin.
Right.
Right.
And that to me was what he was doing.
Talk about Donald Sterling.
Yes.
Absolutely. Generalizing.
Right, and I think
Black.
it's wrong. And so
Completely.
when Don Lemon on CNN said, "Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw this," he goes, "I can't believe that Donald Sterling, he should be more sensitive to this because, this is pretty much."
First of all, explain who Don Lemon is. I
Don
don't know
Lemon
who he
is a reporter on CNN who's African American.
Okay.
And also came out of the book saying he was gay.
Okay.
And to me, I'm like, all right, I don't care. You're a good reporter. I didn't know. I didn't need to know. But anyway, it's meaningless to me.
I'm about to say, what does he have to do with this
I just look at him
situation?
for informing the news. Oh, so what he was talking about it on CNN. They were asking him about it. And he's saying it's wrong. And of course I think it was wrong. But he was saying, by the way, Donald Sterling should be more sensitive to this because, he belongs to a group of people that had a horrible thing happen to him called the Holocaust. And, his real last name is like Klipowitz or something. And he should be more sensitive.
Okay.
And I'm watching this. I'm going, hey, now you're doing exactly what he did. I go, they wouldn't come out and say, "Oh, because he's Jewish." But he talks the Holocaust, and his last name was Klipowitz. But he wouldn't come out and say he's Jewish. So I tweeted, I said, "What does that have to do with anything?" I said, "What he said was horribly wrong, period. And just because he's Jewish, which you're trying to point out, but you won't come out and say it, you're like beating around the bush. What does that have to do with anything? It was a horrible thing what he said. What does his religion have to do with it? And it's irrelevant." I go, Adam Silver is Jewish, and David Stern is Jewish. What does that have to do with what Donald Sterling said?
Not to cut you off, John,
Nothing.
but John, there's no
That's
room
judging
for
a person.
racism, period.
Correct.
Get what I'm saying? Like whether you're
That's right.
a Jew talking about black, a black talking about Jew.
No, but
period.
that's my
In
point.
this day and age,
No, I agree. But
Okay.
I'm saying, why bring it up? It's like stirring the pot about what.
right.
In other
because,
words, he is now saying, "Oh, and by the way, because he's Jewish, he shouldn't have said it." I go, he shouldn't have said it, period.
Exactly, no matter who you are. So you and
So
I
why
are
bring
saying
it up?
the same
It's
thing.
irrelevant.
All right.
Yeah, we are saying the same thing.
Okay, you're just, we're on the same page.
Yes.
You are completely with me, understanding that what Donald Sterling said was racist, hurtful to a race of people. No room for it in our society.
Yeah,
to this
I'm
day.
laughing because it's wrong. Of course I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I just want to make sure I was like, oh, what is he?
No, I'm
okay,
saying
okay.
why bring that up? I go,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with it. And to me, it's
But whoever
like
you're
trying
talking
to
about
cause
is so
problems.
irrelevant right now. He's irrelevant. I consider myself a person who knows a lot of people. I have no, excuse my language, fucking clue who you're talking about with that guy. So we don't even need to bring him up. Donald
He's a
Sterling
reporter
is-
on CNN, and the
I
point
get
is
you.
that he's African American. The point is it's bad what he said, period. It's just
Absolutely.
offensive,
Absolutely.
period. So And then I'm saying like, hey, you're saying people should just be judged for being people. So then why are you bringing up the fact that
I get what you're saying.
really? But
he's wrong also.
He didn't even right. He didn't thank you. He didn't even have the guts to go. He's Jewish. He goes, well, this and this. And
that's just him.
And to me, I'm like, hey, do you know what I'm saying? It's the same.
People don't understand words are power. People don't understand in this day more than ever. You have to watch what you say. Some things you cannot take back. When the truth comes out, that's why the whole thing, when people go, not too many people, but when people do say, he was set up, yeah, he was set up. But nobody put those words in his mouth.
That's right.
Set up just like if I sold cocaine. And I sold cocaine. Cocaine is wrong. I can get in jail for that. But I thought we were friends. But you put a tape in when I was like, yeah, make sure the 2 kilos get downtown tomorrow by 3. And then we're going to make $1 billion. Yeah, and then you bust me. Yeah, I'm wrong for selling cocaine.
This is being recorded, and you're saying you're a coke dealer. What is wrong with you? Now you're going to say I set you up. The cops are going to go, well, you said it.
Tony Montana.
You better
Tony
say
Montana.
Can you take your
Tony Montana.
Now, can you do me a favor? Can you take your hat off for a second? Because I just have a question. It was very windy today. Mm-hmm. Did that affect your hair any?
Yeah, actually. I had blonde highlights at the beginning of the day, and it just blew it all off. My head is nice and chocolate and shiny, ain't it?
Yeah. So you agree with me that when Don Lemon said that, to me that was just as bad.
Oh, absolutely.
Not as bad. I'm just saying, what does that have to do with anything? It's like people say Jews are cheap. Is that true? I go, no, it's not true. And if they're Jewish and cheap, it's not the religion. It's the person. They're a cheap person.
Right. But you know what it is. We're comedians.
And so for him to, I just thought it was like unnecessary and and I think the whole point is, which I thought our generation was supposed to do, which is why I am proud that the commissioner did it, was that people are people.
Yeah, and that's why he did the right thing.
And well, now let me ask you this though: do you think he did it solely for that? Because also, you have a league of, it's a business. You have 30 owners of a team.
Right.
If he hadn't done that, then there'd have been no game. 12 sponsors already brought out. They have revenue sharing. They share.
There was so much at stake.
So don't you think there was also a business reason that like the owner said, just for business reasons and I think there.
But it just happened to be he did the right thing, and then yes, all those other things you say fall right into place. Absolutely. When I tell you. This could have been like a Rodney King situation. This would have been an uprising. You remember when they let those cops off, and there was an uprising?
Do I remember? I came from New York. It was on a Thursday. They go, we have to fly to Las Vegas. There were riots in Las Vegas, and normally when you fly in from the East Coast to Los Angeles, you fly over Los Angeles. You fly over South Central. You fly over. That's the way it goes to the airport. We had to land, and also the other reason they do that is because of the wind coming off the ocean.
I remember the smoke.
We had to land going out from the ocean because people were shooting at the planes.
The airplanes, it got bad.
And then I get
they
there.
were going to shoot the airplanes again.
Now I got there at 10 at night, right?
Right.
The airport was deserted.
Oh yeah.
And I had a limo driver picking me up.
Oh yeah.
And this guy said, "Hey," and he was there for me. He goes, "I waited 2 hours for you. People offered me $200."
Wow.
Because, but John, I know you, and I waited for you.
Right.
And guess what? He was a person who happened to be.
I'll say it for you, African American.
Yes.
Chocolate.
And I was very, very grateful that he waited for me.
Right. No, but let me just say one thing, man. If Adam Silver...
the point is that he did not wait for me because of anything other than he had driven me times before.
Obviously, that's his job. He's a driver.
He was a nice guy. Yeah, but it was very dangerous.
Very dangerous for you to be white and out.
It was the kind of person he was. People were offering. He goes, John, people offered me a lot of money to take him home to the airport. And he goes, I waited for you. I go, thank you. And there were no cabs at the airport. There were no taxi at the airport, no driver. It was deserted, and people were stranded.
All I got to say is I know there was tinted windows there that day.
And we drove along.
Because you wouldn't be here today.
No.
If they had saw your white ass driving down La Cienega, they might have shot the car.
And we were on the freeway. Thank God he had a gun.
Yeah.
And you could see all the fires everywhere.
Absolutely.
It was very scary.
I'm black, and I didn't want to go outside. So, shit. You definitely weren't safe driving down La Cienega that night. But let's go back to Silver. He did the right. You know what's great for him, though? I'm a sports fanatic, so I knew who he was. I knew about Stern no longer
He did
being
the right
commissioner.
thing. I don't think he had a choice.
No, number one, he didn't have a choice, so it worked out perfectly for him. But I'm saying for an introduction to the world and the people that had no idea who the new commissioner was and all this and that, they know now. And it actually, I'm going to be real with you, I feel like it was an easy decision. It's not like it took a lot of work. When you think about it, it happened in 48 hours. We found out on Saturday, that dude was done for life.
Well, the crazy thing, of course, the whole thing is crazy. How can you be an owner of a team, and everyone said it, and I'm not saying anything new, when they said 75% of the league is African American. It's like, why would you be in that business if you don't like...
I'm so happy you brought that up, because I'm going to answer that. Again, I'm going to go back to, he is old school. If you sat there, I don't know how old the next youngest owner is in the league, whatever, but say there were 6 owners in the league right now that were his age or older, they would have so much in common. They would have so much in common. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to take it back. I dated a white girl once in college.
Here we go.
And she told me straight up, if my dad, if my mom, if my grandparents found out I was dating a black guy, they would kill me.
What year was that?
89, 90.
And where was she from?
I think she was from like Oakland, but she went to UCLA. It was at UCLA at the time. And she's just being honest. We're just sitting there talking, and she explained to me, coming out of her mouth, they came from a different time where it wasn't cool for us to be sitting up here together, black, white, enjoying each other just for who we are.
Right.
I say that to say there are still a lot of people out there that are still living in those times. And if they're younger, if they have those times mentalities, we've moved on. I can pee wherever I want to pee now. I can eat wherever I want to eat now. Some of my best friends are white. I golf. We hang out. Remember, John, you know my background. I got a weird background.
Why don't you tell the folks what the hell your background is?
My background is crazy. I'll just make it long story short. I was the only black guy in an all-white private school in South Central L.A., born and raised in the heart of South Central L.A., 2 blocks away from where the riot started. But I was the only black kid in an all-white private school.
Where was the school?
For 10 years. Berkeley Hall, right in the middle of Burton Way and Doheny. It's now on Mulholland, and every superstar's kids go there. I used to have a joke. I used to say I was the inaugural Negro because I was the first black kid.
Oh, but I said that.
Yeah, you couldn't say that. I was the inaugural Negro in 1976.
Can I just show you something?
Yeah. What is that? Oh, my God. John Lovitz, ladies and gentlemen, it's his club. He'll be here all week. No, but that was just my background. So I have a very mixed background where I grew up around all people. I got teased by my own people. I got teased by South Central in the hood. Even family members. You play golf. You play soccer. You swim. You play hockey. I was one of those guys that showed that, look, you can do a little bit of everything. You can still be the cool down brother and still be cool on both sides. So I never had a problem with being around white people, understanding them understanding me, and I think that helped me out big time.
What do you
with
think?
My comedy.
What do you think some of the? Because I was going to talk about the. I think that they go racism is ignorance. I think that there's a lot of myths about people. Like I'll give you an example, which would show my naivete. Was I was at a car wash in Brentwood, and these 3 guys came up to me. Now, is it okay? Do you have to say African American, or can you say 3 black guys? Like,
you say black guys? See, you gotta understand.
I don't know.
Let me tell you something about black people real quick. I'm gonna just tell you. I don't know if any of your black friends told you this, but you're hearing it from me, and I'm a real. Okay, I'm as real as they get. I just know how to relate. I just know how to relate to everybody. But I'm gonna tell you something. We don't trip off a word. We trip off of one word and one word only. So all white people listening. There's only one word you can't say around us. You know what it is. It's the N-word. You can't say it. But we don't trip off. Are you guys
Nancy?
black? Are you black or are you
Nancy boy?
What the hell is that?
The N-word. Nancy?
Nancy
boy?
Yeah, the N-word. Nancy. Norman. Neangelo.
Well, anyway, I was
no,
at
but what I'm trying to say is, so when you're using examples, when you're telling stories,
Well,
it's
everything-
okay to say
people are
black.
so-
You don't have to say African American. It's just not that N word.
Yeah,
Don't
you
say
said,
that
well, you said
because
white
you'll get
guys.
fucked up.
Anyway, I was at a car wash, and these 3 black guys come up to me, and they said, one of them said, hey, my cousin over there is in comedy. Can you give him some advice? I said, yeah, sure. So he comes over. His cousin is in his 20s.
Black?
Yeah, they're all black.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I said, yeah. So I said, well, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm doing stand up at the Comedy Store. I'm writing. I go, oh, well, you know what? You're doing everything right to start. That's what I would suggest you do. And then the guy that came up to me said, he goes, let me ask you a question. What would you think if I told you that I spoke Hebrew?
The black guy said that to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, oh, well, I would think, well, you probably do, because why else would you say it? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm Jewish. I go, all right? He goes, yep. My name is Steve Levitt. I'm an international lawyer. And he goes, but, you know, he said, and he goes, but, you know, people don't know that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started saying, he said it the best. He said, you know, the problem is, if I come up to you, he goes, we have all these preconceived notions I have about you, you have about me, and we have to get through all that stuff before we get to the person.
Mm-hmm.
He goes like, I said, well, and then he said, like, he gets walking through Brentwood, people yell stuff at him.
Mm-hmm.
And me, like an idiot, said, in Brentwood, but Brentwood's all Jewish. Why would they yell at you? You're Jewish. He goes, yeah, but he goes, I'm black. They don't see, you know, so I went, oh, yeah.
They wouldn't think that.
No, they wouldn't think it. And it was like, and then I said that, which after I said it, I thought I'm an idiot, you know. But that was my first thought, but you're Jewish, you know.
What's your point?
Well, my point is that this guy, prejudice is like prejudged. That he said it best. He goes, you prejudge somebody.
Can I tell you what I would tell him?
I guess you're on the show.
I would tell him, look here, brother. You're black and you're Jews and you're Jewish.
So he's bluish.
Yeah, he's bluish. That's a funny joke.
Like this.
He's bluish. I would tell him, brother, first of all, what you need to do in this game, because people ask me all the time, man, you've been doing comedy over 20 years. What's your advice? If he came into
this guy was a lawyer. He asked me to give advice to his cousin. But the guy that had this conversation with, I just told you, is a lawyer.
Right. But what I'm saying is, say a young comic came up and he goes, hey, Alex Thomas, I want to do stand-up comedy, but there's only one problem. I'm black and I'm Jewish. You know what I'm going to tell him? I'll say, first of all, it's never been done. You have a voice right now.
No,
and
but
you can speak. Let me finish what
but
I'm saying.
The guy that came up to me wasn't the comic.
I understand.
His cousin
was. Yeah, his cousin was. I'm just kind of hypothetically speaking of if there was a young black guy that was doing.
This is the problem with Chinese African Americans. they get on a. Go on, sorry.
No, what I'm saying is, you have a voice that's never been heard. Speak about your background. I would love to sit, and every black person or white person, all of us would like to sit in it. Well, there was Sammy Davis Jr.
Well, there's Tiffany Haddish. Do you know Tiffany?
That's my girl. She ain't Jewish, and if she is, she lying to you. Tiffany, if you watching, I've known your ass for as long as you've been doing comedy. You got people thinking you're black
when she was
and
16.
Jewish.
She told me she was black and Jewish.
Okay, well, Tiffany's a very funny comedian, and she was pulling your fucking white ass leg. So look, I'm gonna go back.
Or she didn't tell you.
I've known Tiffany for. Oh yeah, she kept
Ask
that
her
a
about
secret.
her grandmother.
Yeah, well then when she kept that a secret, and she don't talk about it on stage. Because I would have known that.
Your hair is a mess from the wind today.
Isn't it? Oh, my God. It is just blowing all out the way. No, but I would just say to that guy, anybody that would ever say, hey, man, you got a voice, do it. And if you blow up, if you become a huge comedian, now you're speaking on behalf of you. Now you're selling out theaters.
That's
and
terrific.
We're all hearing the black and Jewish point of view.
That's terrific, but that wasn't my point. It's talking about what the lawyer said. And so I'm saying, what are some of the myths? Sorry, let me say. That being said, there's myths about people. There's myths that people believe about.
But we're comedians and we joke about it. If
right,
you get
but
serious,
I'm saying, what were some of the, let's say, things that you believed about white people, and then you went to this school and you went, that's not true.
Oh, well,
and I bet you they asked you stuff that they said.
All day, every day.
Like, I'll tell you one about me, which I was in college. My roommate, Richard, who happened to be black, but he's just Richard. We're one of my best friends.
Right.
So I don't know where I don't know where he was, but he came in the room, and he was like sunburnt. And I go, you're all red. He goes, yeah. I go, you can get sunburnt? He goes, yes, John, black people get sunburnt. I go, they can? Now, I'm telling you, I actually thought... No, I'm saying this is a myth. It's ignorance. It's like you just assume. You go,
yeah, you just don't know. But that's like,
and I'm
what's
like,
the
well,
word?
I fucking idiot. You know, I didn't. I never crossed.
You weren't trying to be mean. You really, truly didn't know that. Exactly. I hear what you're saying.
And I didn't even know that I thought that till I saw him being. I go, how did you?
Now, see, that's the stuff I kind of got as I got older.
I was like 19. You know, so I'm saying, what are some of the stuff like when you went to the school? They'd ask you that was like, I'm saying. Tell me some of the falsehoods, because I'm saying people are people, and they don't get to that. They have all these myths. So I want to dispel the myths.
Right.
So what are some that you think people think that's completely
Well,
false?
it was a lot of that kind of stuff that could have easily, at a young age.
Because this is what's going to erase racism.
Exactly.
Is this dispelling of these myths. Like, I'll give you one about gays. A lot of people are against gay marriage, and they go, "It's against my religion." It's this, but I have a friend, and he's he's Christian, a very Christian guy, goes to church, and he says, and then he goes, he's against gay marriage, and then he says, "Listen, I'm not against gay people." I go, "Then why?" He goes, "My sister's gay." I go, "Then why are you against gay marriage?" Well, the kids, you know. So a lot of people think that gay people are going to try to convert children or teachers. It's completely not true. Of
course.
But that's a myth. Or they think that every gay man wants to hit on them. And that's not a myth.
Well, one of the myths with me as a kid,
so
they thought that, wait a second, how could you be from South Central LA and not be in a gang? You know? Because they figured if you're from South Central, all they heard was gangs, drugs, violence, so they really tripped out on that. But I was one of those kind of guys, my whole thing was to show everything you guys are thinking isn't the truth. Like, this may sound as silly as it is.
No, this is the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. They thought that every single black person plays basketball. I was horrible at basketball. I couldn't play basketball for shit. But I thought I was going to be.
And yet he's on my show. Sorry.
You know who I looked up to before I looked up to Magic Johnson? Pele. I loved soccer. But again, that's because I was exposed to it. Because I was around.
Bang the table, the mic will pick it up. Thought you were in show business.
Is that because I
you
was
know
just
who
around
my
like
idol
this?
was growing up?
Who?
I wanted to be my idol, Willie Mays.
Yeah, you told me Willie Mays.
Was God. And I was, here's the thing about it's learned. I was 8 years old. I love baseball. I wanted to be Willie Mays. If you said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I go, I want to be a baseball player. But what I really wanted to be, I wanted to be a black baseball player. No, I'm serious. And
I believe you.
And not till I was like 15 did I went like, oh, I can't be a black man. But the other part was I never thought of Willie Mays as black. It never crossed my mind he's Willie Mays.
Yeah.
What? He's a great guy, great ball player, his attitude. It didn't cross my mind.
Yeah.
It's something learned.
Because you're a kid. You kids don't know those kind of things.
And in the movie Do the Right Thing,
there you have
did
it.
you see it?
I was just about to bring that up.
Spike Lee made John Turturro's character, and he's very racist against blacks. And they go, well, what about Michael Jordan? He goes, oh, that's different.
Because he's not really black.
No, he goes, well, that's different.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, he's Michael Jordan. That's different. In other words,
he said that about Magic Johnson.
No, he said that about Michael Jordan.
Right. He also brought up one more.
Yeah. He said that, and so here you have, and Spike Lee, of course, based that on what people would say. They go, but that's different. Because he obviously heard people say that, and I'd hear him say it, and you go, so here's a guy based on someone Spike Lee knew because that's different. He's Michael Jordan. In other words, he's such a great human being that it wiped out his racism.
Can I be really real with you right now?
Wait, let me finish. Okay. It wiped out his racism, and he didn't think of him that way. And that, to me, what was so shocking about the Donald Sterling thing was when he goes, don't take a picture with Magic Johnson. Because Magic Johnson is like that. And I've met him a lot. He's the nicest guy in the world. And he's a superstar. And I look and I go, there's Magic Johnson.
Right.
And I was at his house once before. He's the nicest guy in the world. And that's what was so shocking. Even with when you go, but people go, oh, that's different. And Donald Sterling, that didn't even affect him. Like, but it's Magic.
Yeah, because he doesn't care. I got a lot to say to that, and I might be
And
all
me
over
even
the place.
saying, oh, you said, but it's Magic.
No.
Going, isn't that race? I go, no. But that's my point is that, like, it's Michael, it transcends, and then it makes you realize you don't really care about it. It's the person, you know, but it was in my mind. I couldn't
All that
fathom.
stuff proves
I go, how is he
is.
offended
Yeah.
that, but she's a picture of Magic Johnson.
Well, it's a whole lot that goes into
put that on Instagram?
And I want to, and I'm gonna speak on that, John. I'm gonna speak on that. First of all, kind of like in defense of the chick, whatever her name is, I don't know her name, but it's no secret, she's a groupie. She's what we call in the hood, we call it a jump off. She's one of those kind of chicks that if you looked at her Instagram, there's tons of pictures with tons of celebrities. She's like anybody, and like you just said, Magic Johnson is huge. He's a superstar. I don't care who you are. I'm a dude. If I saw Magic Johnson out, I'm like, can I get a picture with you? But Donald Sterling took it as, there's a lot of things that go into it. He took it as, damn it, you picked a huge superstar black man to take pictures with. So his racist, that really touched his racist, because if it was me or somebody that not everybody knew, he wouldn't have been as mad. He would have still been mad, but it's a personal thing to me with Magic Johnson. I'm going to tell you what that personal thing is. This hasn't come up. It hasn't come up in the news, but I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I'm talking as if I'm Donald Sterling right now. I hate Magic Johnson's guts, and I'm going to tell you why I hate him. You know why I hate Magic Johnson? Because he's part of the reason why my team was always the JV team in this city. He's part of the reason why I never had any type of success. Why? Because right across town, you had the LA Lakers, Showtime, who won 5 championships. Donald Sterling and his Clippers didn't even get to the playoffs. I hate that I could never be Magic Johnson.
But
I think that's the personal stuff deep down inside of why he does not like Magic Johnson.
I don't know. I disagree because
why?
He didn't,
why do you disagree?
Well, for 2 reasons. One reason the Clippers never did well was he wouldn't really spend a lot of money on
we
the
all
team
know that,
great
yes.
players.
But
so
the
you
Lakers
can't
had
blame
great
that
teams.
on Magic Johnson.
But
I
think he does.
Money. Yeah, but then he
did.
spent money and he's a great team now. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is, which I do believe, he said, you know, they go, the commissioner of NBA, Adam Silver, said, they go, did he say he was sorry or having remorse? No, he just said that he said these things.
He acknowledged.
But he actually did release a statement to the press apologizing, saying this is the antithesis of how I feel, and I apologize if I hurt anybody. Donald Sterling releases, and he said, Magic Johnson is my friend, and I feel horrible about it. So that's why I'm disagreeing. So it doesn't make
now, John, for the fact that anybody he says that's black that it was his friend, it's all null and void because we know it was all a front. We know it was all bullshit. It's like saying, what are you talking about?
Right.
I have black friends. No, you see what Magic said? Magic said, I will never in life go to another Clipper game if that man is still the owner. So he can care less.
Of course, I understand.
He can care less what Donald said he was his friend.
Yeah, but I'm saying I would feel the same way. I'm not defending what he said.
Right.
And if I was Magic, who wouldn't say that,
Right.
feel that way? That's what I'm saying.
And then,
but what I'm saying is your reasons of why he hates it. But then he said,
I think that had a little slight bit to do, other than, think about it, if you're already racist, 2 things.
Don't you
if
think
you're
you thought
already
that girl was
racist, that's one thing. That's one thing. If you're already racist, that's one thing. And then, on top of being racist, you're the team I could never get by. Oh, yes, we're not talking about the new regime of the Clippers, this new generation of Clippers. But just personally, if you own the team and this guy, like if George Steinbrenner hated something because a team always beat him. That's just a competitive type thing. So I think on top of him being racist, and then of all people, it's Magic Johnson, that really let his feelings come up. And I want to say one thing, last thing about her. His old school way of thinking, he doesn't understand how Instagram works either. I kind of touched it earlier.
Talk to the camera.
Instagram is one of those kind of things where you look at somebody's Instagram, there's tons of pictures. You see me with tons of different people. He almost took it as you took her picture like her whole page was Magic and you're cheating on me. No. You get what I'm trying to say? I could see if I was 80 and I didn't know how Instagram went and I saw my woman taking a picture with a superstar. Wait a second, are you messing around on me? Why are you taking pictures with another man? I would go, no, sweetie, if you look at my page, it's me and tons of people. Because if you heard, one of his buddies told him. That's what I heard. Like, one of his friends, because he's not on Instagram.
Heard?
Yeah, he's not on Instagram. So somebody told him, Donald, you should look into this. And that's what made him say what he said.
No,
but the bottom line is,
but if I move like this,
yeah.
what would?
Bottom line, I
What's
think
that?
it was a good thing. It wasn't good for basketball and banned
Is
for
this
life.
making fun of you if I do this?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just happy it was done. I'm not even a Clipper fan, but I watched last night.
I tell you, it made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And meeting the players, I felt. This is why I felt sick to my stomach for them. I thought these are young guys in their 20s.
Yeah.
And so even if you're older, emotionally, and then you go, what? He doesn't judge me as me, a person. He's judged me based on
how high you can jump and how
no
fast you can
on my
run.
race. And you're like, what?
Absolutely.
And so I think it was just
Chris Paul is a
nauseating.
good friend of mine.
Who?
Chris Paul is a good friend of mine.
Oh, you don't
nicest
know
guy.
him.
One of the nicest guys. I know his parents.
You don't know him.
I know his parents and everybody around him.
Well,
and
you
he's
tell
the
him I
president.
did this, and he'll tell you he loves me. So
Yeah.
he's a big fan of mine, and
Yeah.
you don't know him.
Hey, let me tell you something about him. He is the new president of the Players Association. So when he's kind of came out after that game and said, man, when I tell you it was almost tears.
I thought they
coming
said
out of
Kevin
my-
Johnson was the president.
No.
of the Players.
Kevin Johnson is the mayor of Sacramento.
No, I know, but he's
and
not-
he's also
he's a consultant?
He deals with the past players, former players.
Oh.
Which is, even though he's a mayor of Sacramento now, there's also an association for retired players. Chris Paul is the president of the present players right now. Derek Fisher was the president, and now it's Chris. So it just happened to be the guy
Yeah.
that's the voice, the guy that speaks. He couldn't really talk. So imagine the pressure he was under with, not only is it his owner, a big, huge playoff team, and what do? He said it. He was like, man, when I tell you it was probably one of the toughest days
Wait,
of my
he
life.
talked to you about this?
No, he said this on a press
What did he
conference.
say? Say it again.
He basically said it was beyond emotional. Imagine the situation I'm in. You know, we're trying to still rally the troops together and still try to figure out what are we going to do. So that's why he said he's very happy with what happened.
Oh, yeah.
He felt
Now,
like a load was off his back.
Here's a point I'd like to make, right?
Oh, hey, Jerry. You stopped by. You're doing a cameo?
This is my dog, right?
And he's racist also.
Now, wait. Now, people love their pets. They love dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jerry.
They treat pets better than people.
And people, yeah.
And this is a different species.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a person.
Yeah.
But when it comes to people are like, he's that, you know.
Yeah.
I hate racism. My whole act, I do stand up now for 10 years. And I didn't plan it this way. But it ends, someone said, what's your act about? Right? And I said, I said,
Jerry
okay?
loves you.
So I looked at it, and it's all about satirizing racism because I hate it. People that don't understand irony or satire don't get it. It's making fun of it because it's so awful.
Absolutely.
You know, and when I was in college, my freshman year, I lived in this fine arts dorm, and everyone there, like Leonard wanted to be a painter, Peter was a painter, I wanted to be an actor, Richard wanted to be a singer, right? And Leonard was Mexican, and Peter was Chinese, and Buck was black, and Richard was black, and I'm Jewish. Whatever. We'd have dinner together, and we would just rip each other about all the stereotypes, but we would be crying laughing because we didn't mean it. And then we'd stop. I go, and I'd say, "It's so stupid." I go, "I don't understand it." I go, "We're all here, like starting our lives. What does it matter? You want to be a painter. You want to be a singer. This is so exciting. We're all in the same boat." And who cares? You know, my dad would go, "Well, John, that's very, you know, most people don't think like that." I go, "But why? I don't get it. To me, there's nice people and there's jerks. And that's it."
Period. And as comedians, we're just like the quarterbacks. We're just
And
we're
we
just the
put the
ones
point
that
out
bring
the
it. We
crap.
find humor. We find humor in it. And one thing I've learned in my 20 years of doing stand-up comedy, you can't please everybody, regardless to what you say. Somebody's not gonna like you. Somebody's gonna think, "Oh, that wasn't funny," or "Oh, I can't believe you said that." I always tell my friends and my family, say there's 300 people in the comedy club. As long as at least 250 like me, I can give a damn less about the 50 people that want to critique everything coming out my mouth.
What is with
Because
the-
if it was easy, they would get up here and
What
do it.
is
and I
with-
am not an angry black comedian.
What is
it's just
with-
the topic today has got my feathers ruffled.
What is with the constant cussing?
I'm trying to be clean.
Do you know who is Chinese, black, and Jewish?
I actually don't.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Wow. You
And
know
I
some
worked
stuff
with
I
her,
don't know.
and she said, "John, we have family reunions, and there's Jewish people, white Jewish people, Chinese people, and black people." And she said, "Guess what? There's a family resemblance between all of us."
Oh, that's
I
funny.
swear.
That's funny. Well, I want to give a compliment to you.
And that's my. Oh wait, before you do, that's my point. Because I do this joke in my act. I say, if there was a real difference between people, right? Because that's the thing. It's like you did a joke. You go, "My butt's pink on the inside." You know, my dad was a doctor. When you go to medical school, they don't say, "Here's how you. Here's the Chinese body. Here's the Asian
no,
body."
it's
Here's
just
the
the body.
same.
Right, no, exactly.
Everyone's the same.
Exactly.
And
But cultures are different. You know, it's almost like
What?
Cultures are different. Let me give you an
no, you know
example.
that, yeah,
Take
there
a
are
piece of
differences
chicken.
in cultures, but the point is to me the point is just like, well, how do you think and what do you feel? What do you share?
Exactly.
And to share it and learn and enjoy, and this variety of life is you know.
Absolutely.
And also wait, though, what was I saying before you interrupted me on my own
Hey, man,
show?
we're talking about all kind of shit today. We all over the place. I want to talk about chicken.
I said, what was I saying?
You were talking about chicken, right?
No. But if I did, you'd say, "Oh, that's racist."
No,
Why are you
exactly.
bringing up chicken?
I was going to bring up chicken. And what I mean by that is
Your
if you
chicken.
take a piece of chicken and put 9 people in this room from different countries and different backgrounds,
Yeah.
it's still a piece of chicken, but it's just the way you season it. You could take an Israeli person, they put their seasoning on it. Black people, they'll put their seasoning on it. Hispanic people, they'll put their spin on it. Bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, it's still a piece of chicken. It's just how you season it. So with us, with comedy, with satire, with topics, it's just you have a point of view, I have a point of view. Like we said, people are people, yes, but your culture has a different way of seeing things with my culture. I'm going to go back to something you said earlier about the Jewish thing. Yes, there's just jokes.
Oh, here we go. Here it comes out. Here we go. TMZ, are you listening to this? He wants to talk about the Jewish thing. Here, go ahead.
You know, people say that oldest joke, you're being cheap. You're being Jewish right now. Oh, it's a saying. It's kind of like a figure of speech.
I Jewed you down.
We can keep going, right? My point is, you actually can't be mad at it because that's why, and I'm going on record to say it, they can be mad. Black people can be mad when I say this, but that's probably why Jews have a lot more money, because they do know how to save it. Because they do know how to negotiate and not do crazy things with their money. That's a compliment. You understand what I mean? So when somebody goes,
Yeah, but-
I'm Jewish, it's almost like being a compliment. Yeah, I'm not going to get out here and spend my money crazy. I'd rather have more money in the bank than doing something ignorant with it.
Well, okay, but
Right or wrong?
But
Right or wrong?
wrong.
How am I wrong? If I'm being Jewish with my money, that means I'm saving it, right?
That sounds so bad.
Does it really?
First of all, yes.
How?
It's just like, well, if I said I'm being black with my women.
It's spending it all. But guess what?
No, I'm not saying that.
You're trying to be politically correct, but if you finish that sentence, guess what? I cannot be mad at you
I didn't
because you
say
are
it.
telling the truth. I'm
But
being
that's
black,
not
and
what-
I got 15 women on the side, and I've just spent my whole check on a Cadillac. I can say that shit, but if you say it as being racist, but it still is the truth.
Well, then why is it if I say I didn't say that? But
No,
why?
I'm
why is
saying
it racist if I say that?
I'm about to tell you.
Because I'm
it's
not
like,
black.
No,
You
I'm
can
trying
say,
to say-
I know why. Because you can say what you
Exactly. I
want
can
about
say
your
that
own
shit.
people.
I could say,
But-
man, why'd you spend your whole check on some rims
Okay.
to my black friend? That's stupid as shit. How you gonna spend $65,000 on a car before you buy a house? Whereas a Jew might go, I'm gonna put $65,000 in my bank account.
Well, let me ask you
and live in a
something.
small-
Why would
yeah.
they spend all $65 grand on a house on a car instead of a house.
I can tell you why black people do that.
Why? Are you black?
We're either going to have people listening to this that is going to be with me and feel me, or we're going to have older people that are going to look at this and go, Alex Thomas is crazy. But it's the truth. I can tell you why black people do that.
Good, but before
I can tell you that.
I say why because you're black, because I don't see Alex Thomas as he's Alex Thomas black. I see him as Alex Thomas Chinese. All right, so why
I'm going to be real with you, and I can say this shit.
Well, don't be fake with me.
We're horrible with that. We are horrible. There's
why?
A reason. I'm about to tell you. Because when you grow up having nothing your entire life, when you finally make a little something, you want the world to know. I'm going to give you an NFL example. Let's say when Brett Favre, I always use this example.
You want the world to know. So the problem with that is this, is you care what other people think about you.
Yes.
And as Dr. Phil's father said to him about a perfectionist, you wouldn't care so much what other people think about you if you realized how little they did. And everybody suffers from that. And you're screwing yourself. Why not say, you know, but I get it, but why? But then you said you have no money left. You said it.
I don't want to forget my point. I'm going to use a point when Brett Favre was still playing. Let's say this was 5 years ago, and we went into the Green Bay Packers parking lot. Brett Favre is the biggest star on the team. The world knows him. This is his 16th year. He's won Super Bowls, everything. If you look at all the cars in the parking lot, you'd be like, if you judge really, truly on money and who are the stars and try to equate this with that, you have a black guy on the team that ain't played 2 games yet. He just came from college, and he got the most expensive car in the parking lot. Got the
You mean if you looked at the players' cars?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Look in the players' parking lot. You see the black guy. He got a Rolex that cost $50,000, $1 billion worth of chains. You see about 5 or 6 chicks, nice-ass, amazing Mercedes-Benz or Bentley, right? Ain't played 2 games yet. He's not guaranteed to get to the 5th game. If you look at Brett Favre, that dude got a white T-shirt, some $30 Wranglers. He might have a real nice watch, and he's driving an F-150. It's just 2 different mentalities. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying how we think versus white people. Brett Favre is going, I have money in the bank.
I said that.
Yeah, exactly. Brett Favre has money in the bank and enough to take care of his family for the rest of his life. That's the way you're supposed to think, correct? You make money, take care. The black guy ain't thinking that way. I'm just kind of telling you that this we're on that topic. A difference, and it's stupid. If I was his bigger brother, I would tell him.
Well, why do you think that way?
Because that guy we're talking about.
No, why do you think that way?
I'm telling you. Because that guy you're talking about that's driving that Bentley that has $1 billion worth of ice, that's chains and all that stuff, he's going, I don't know.
I know what ice is, you
I don't know if
damn
I'm going to live
fool.
to tomorrow. I got to get it now. I've been broke my whole life, and I want the world to know. It's ignorant, but it's the truth.
Why aren't you like that?
Because I had great parents. I grew up in a mixed environment. I can speak on both. I can speak on both. I can speak on both topics, and I'm common sense smarter than that.
Now, let me dispel one of the myths you brought up earlier about Jewish people and money. The reason they say, you Jewed me down, you're cheap, da-da-da. What the source of that was in the like, you know, they have unions now? Mm-hmm. Well, in the 1500s, they had what was called guilds, which is the same as a union.
Like a Screen Actors Guild. Or like that.
Yeah, but they called them guilds. And to be a blacksmith, you had to belong to a guild. To be anything, you had to belong to a guild. The Jews were not allowed
to be in the guild.
In any of the guilds. So they couldn't make money. So the only way they could make money was to loan money and then get paid back with interest, okay? Now, the way the cheap Jew came out, have you ever, someone said to you, your friend, can I borrow some money? I'll pay you back in 3 weeks. Sure. And then they don't pay you back. And then months goes by. And then you go like, hey, man, it's been 8 months. Can you pay me back? You know what they say? You cheap Jew. That's what it is. When people you loan someone money, and you say, okay, I'll pay you back, you expect to be paid back. You're asking a favor, and the guy goes, here you go, and I'll pay you back. Okay, and then they don't pay you back, and then when you ask for your money to be paid back, they say you're cheap. And I had a friend
that's wrong. That's wrong because they owe you money.
Right.
Yeah.
And they said, can you loan me money? I'll pay you back. Yeah. And then they don't. And then they think then you're forced in a position to ask for the money back.
First of all, you will never lend that person any more money again.
I don't have to wrap it up. It's my network. Hello.
Oh, well, I want to say something. I want to give you a compliment. I just want to kind of go back on something.
And that's when they call you cheap. So my method is you go, if someone asks to borrow money, you go, here's the money, and then don't ask me for any more because they will not pay you back.
Right. I want to give you a compliment, man, just kind of all off the subject, talking about who I was influenced by and who I grew up watching. Even though I loved Eddie Murphy and I loved Richard Pryor, I really, really loved Jon Lovitz. You're one of my favorite comedians. One of my favorite comedians coming up. So when I first met you, I was like, dude, this is crazy. I get to meet somebody that I grew up watching, somebody that I thought was funny, and that we ended up becoming friends. So I just want to tell you that's big for me. Like when my black friends see that, man, this dude is really friends with Jon Lovitz. They'll be like, man, I'm trying to find me a cool-ass white legend to be friends with. Shit. Damn, you friends with a white legend, Alex.
I'm from Tarzana.
Like, he's my homie. He's my homie. And I want to tell you another thing, man, because I know you got to wrap it up. I'm excited, man, to be here at the Jon Lovitz Comedy Club on June 8th. I'm performing here. I know you already know, but I'm excited. One of my buddies, his name is Dorian Zuleta. His child has autism. And he's doing a benefit here on June 8th. And I'm performing, 1 out of 68 kids now being born in this day and age have autism, and like the whole NFL and NBA, everybody's getting behind it. And I'm performing here on the 8th, man, and I love your club, and I'm going to be here. I don't know if you're going to be out of town, John, but I would love if you showed up, man, that night. Maybe say hello on your own damn stage. Say hi. Say welcome.
If I'm
and
here,
just
I will.
leave.
I will. I don't know if I have a.
It's June 8th. It's a Sunday night. But I'm excited to be here to support him.
By
so
the
I'm
way,
just gonna be on the show.
You also have a company that sells fine leather goods. Is there a website yet? Or
Absolutely. It's called the Louis Stewart Collection. You can go to the Louis, Louis, Stewart Collection. We're the only, believe it or not, we're the only black-owned high-end custom accessory line in the world.
And Louis Stewart was a designer for.
He was a designer at Louis Vuitton for about 4 years. He left in 2008.
4 years?
He was there for 4 years.
Oh, I thought it was longer, 10 or 14. Okay,
no, he was there for 4 years.
He was there.
He left in 2009. Started his own high-end accessory line. I just happened to be the first celebrity to buy from him. Loved it so much, I invested in him, and now we have over 300 pro. Baseball, basketball, football, every star you could think of, from Justin Bieber to Rihanna to Oprah Winfrey. Everybody has the backs. Everything's custom. So,
I'm laughing because there was a guy on cable TV in New York called Joey Adams. He was a comic, and now I feel like, when did I turn into Joey Adams? It was on cable. No one saw it. I feel like, I'm Joey Adams. I'm Jon Lovitz. I'm good to be here. All right, my guest today is Alex Thomas. He's a very funny comedian, terrific fellow, one of my best friends. Oh, and also, can you mention one more thing? Alex, I really do admire. I think he's one of the finest people I've ever met. I really do.
Thank you, man. And I appreciate you
supporting. And if I had a son, I'd want him to be like you, except with hair. Now, Alex, tell him
I want to thank you too
about your Also, he has a golf tournament that raises money for Ronald McDonald House.
Well, yeah.
When's that going to be this year?
Yes. First of all, the Ronald McDonald House has partnered up with my foundation, the Alex Thomas Foundation. My foundation benefits pediatric cancer, and you've been to my tournament. Want to thank you for that. This is the 5th year. This is the 5th annual Alex Thomas Celebrity Golf Classic. They can go to my website, alexthomasfoundation.com. If you're a golfer, come out and support us. If you're not a golfer, you can still donate. We're doing some great things for these kids that are critically ill. I actually hosted the Walk for Kids a few weeks ago, 5,000 people walking for critically ill children. And this is a good thing. Cancer hit my family real hard over the last 5 years. So I just wanted to figure out a way to give back. How could I be a part of this and spread the word? So it's going great, man, with people like yourself that support me and come out. Last year we honored Jim Brown. We honor a different celebrity superstar of the year. Yeah. Great guy. He loves you too, man. He actually told me that when you see John, man, tell him I said hi.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did. It was like the next day after my hole-in-one party.
I met him was at Magic Johnson's house.
Yeah.
And I was sitting next to him, and this was maybe 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he was young, and he's like didn't say anything. He was just huge and just like very frightening. And I was like going. And I'm like, hey, Oh, nice to meet you. Anyway, a friend of my dad, Dr. Grossman, was I know you know him. He's a plastic surgeon. He took care of Richard Pryor when he was got burned, and I know he
they were best friends.
Oh yeah, Dr. Grossman, who sadly just passed away. Richard
Oh, did
Grossman.
he really?
But it was a great guy, and he had a burn unit in Sherman Oaks, and he's the guy that he was Richard Pryor's
Helped
doctor
take care
when he
of him.
burned his
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Brown and
Jim Brown is very nice, and I said to him, that whole thing you do when he goes to a prison and tries to help turn their lives around after they get out, and
you know that's how I became friends with him, right?
What's it called, American?
It's called American, and that's how I met Jim Brown.
Because you were in prison?
I was, but I was performing.
Oh.
No, but just long story short on that, Jim Brown has the American program. Everybody knows that's basically, he's really, truly, I can't say stop the violence in South Central LA, but he definitely helped get it down over the last 25 years with the war between the Crips and the Bloods. So American program is what tried to just
Now, can I ask you a dumb question?
What?
Because me, if I went in there and was talking to him, I'd be scared shitless. Was he like going in and he's like, I'm not scared of these guys? Because any other person would be like scared shitless.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Jim Brown, he's like,
Jim Brown has a presence. Not only was he a very strong,
I know he's physically big and stuff, but was he like?
Well, let me explain. He was really huge in the African American community, not only in our generation with these Crips and Bloods and stuff, but before with the Bill Russells and the Muhammad Alis with the whole,
he was huge.
Black
Yeah,
Panther
I
movement.
remember.
But it went into his later age because he didn't start American. He's 77 now. So
American.
I said it all backwards.
Was it a Cayenne, Porsche Cayenne Turbo?
Right.
By the way, the guy who says, don't spend all your money on this, I said, couldn't you get your fiancée a smart car? Are you crazy? She's right there. She goes, John, did you tell Alex to get me a smart car? I'm getting me a Porsche.
I bought her a smart Porsche and a smart Range Rover.
Okay.
But let me get back to my point with Jim Brown. So he started American in his late 50s, 60s, whatever. But long story short, the young man who ended up running American, his whole program, was a young man that I grew up with. I didn't get caught up in the gangs. He did. He ended up getting killed about 4 or 5 years ago, stopping this violence. He was a major movement in stopping violence. His name was Loon. And what happened was a young man was writing on a wall, graffiti on a wall, and he just simply told the young man, and the young man happened to be Hispanic, and he told him, don't write on that wall. We don't write on walls around here. And the young man was like, whatever, kept writing. Loon went over there just to do a deed, to take the spray paint can out of his hand, and the young man killed him, shot him 3 times in the chest. So he died. That young man had no idea that this guy was changing lives, was helping out the community. I spoke at the funeral. That's how I ended up becoming friends with Jim Brown. When Jim found out that, wow, you knew that guy, wow, you guys were friends, and all those shows that I did in those prisons, Jim had no idea how I got to those prisons. I didn't know Jim Brown. I knew the man that ran his program, which was Loon. So I went up and down, the biggest prisons in California and spoke to all the prisoners. And you said all your friends,
you had a lot of friends in gangs, right?
Man, when I tell you, when I went to that prison and I performed, let's just say I'll just take one of the biggest ones, Folsom. I probably saw at least 15 dudes I grew up with in the lifer program. Because I went to speak to lifers. I spoke to 150 lifers. I knew about 7 guys in the lifer program and about 12 that just guys that I grew up with. So it was crazy to go in there perform, John. And the reason Loon wanted me to be there, because he wanted me to show some of these guys in there that think that there's no hope. I came from where you came to. Not every single guy in South Central LA ended up in jail.
Why did you not end up in gangs?
Because my dad,
with, right?
People always say, man, how did you avoid that? I was afraid of my dad, man. And if more guys had dads, excuse my language, but fuck the Crips and the Bloods, I was worried about my dad whooping my ass if I didn't do my homework.
And if more
if
people
I wasn't
had
home,
dads,
if there was more men, it wouldn't have been like that. But unfortunately, where I grew up, a lot of times there was not a dad there. There wasn't somebody to tell them consequences. If you're not home by a certain time, this and that's going to happen. So unfortunately, it happened. But I wanted to say this. When I went to those prisons and I performed for American with Jim Brown's program, probably some of the best shows of my life. They told me I only had to talk for 10 minutes. You don't really have to get into your stand-up. Just kind of encourage them. Just kind of give them, you know, a breath of fresh air. Shed some light on them. John, I ended up getting standing ovations in front of 150 lifers. And I always say, as a stand-up comedian, that is
lifers,
an amazing.
you mean they're never going to get out of
They're
prison?
never going to get out. So I always said, basically, my joke on stage, I used to say, look here, as a stand-up comic, a personal accomplishment, if you can kill in a room full of killers, I'm a bad motherfucker. So I ended up staying a little bit afterward and having juice boxes and coffee cakes with them.
What would you say to them to encourage them to do? They're in prison their whole life. So what do you say? What do you say?
I'm gonna be honest.
Hey, be positive. I mean, you're
Keep your head up. No, you know what it was? It was
It
just
could
making
be
them laugh.
worse. It's like not really.
Not really, right?
What?
You know what it was, John? There's nothing to smile about in there. There's nothing to be happy about. Period. Point blank. There's no light at the end of the tunnel when you're in there for life. So, prison programs are always cool with anything that can come in there and get their mind off of violence. Anything that can come in there and make people laugh and smile. That's why I kind of like some prisons, they let the guys have puppies and cats. He's really not going to do too much crime if he's in there playing with his puppy. They're not thinking about that for an hour when I'm up there making them smile and laugh. So it made me feel good. It made me feel like that's my deed for the day. You know?
Well, Alex, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, man.
And
anytime, John.
I just find it very ironic that you're so angry at Donald Sterling and you're a Laker fan.
Oh yeah.
Little hypocritical. Anyway,
Kobe got
Alex
on
will
the
be
phone
back.
and we'll have all those Clippers on the Lakers next year. Trust me. He was on a press conference and he said, "Look here, Blake, CP3, the Lakers love black people. So come on over. Wear that purple and gold
well,
next
you
year."
know, by the way, catch Craig Shoemaker's show. It's on the John Lovitz Comedy Network because one of his recent guests just before this was Jeannie Buss, who is the president of the Lakers. Should be interesting.
Go
anyway,
Lakers.
I'm John Lovitz.
I'm Alex
I'll see
Thomas.
you next time on Lovitz or Leavitz. And another hand for my Chinese African-American guest, Alex. Look at him. Look. See it? It's in here. Chinese.
Go, John. Go, John. Go, John.